tap the power, make the most important financial decision of your life, which is to stop trading time for money, to become an owner, not just to somebody who is, buying things, but somebody who has become an investor. And the way you have to do that is by deciding a percentage you're going to save, and you're going to keep that and put into a financial freedom fund. You're going to take that money before you see it, put it aside, and you're going to invest it. In fact, most people describe what happens with, let's say, a fighter, even somebody as brilliant as Money Mayweather, brilliant guy, unbelievable fighter. But if you talk to nobody less than 50 Cent, his former friend and partner, he said, let me tell you what he does. He goes out and he fights, he gets the money, he spends the money, and then he fights. He said, and he carries around a Louis Vuitton bag full of literally $1 million in cash, just in case anything special happens he wants to take advantage of. So God forbid if something happens to this man and his ability to fight, he could be in real trouble. We can't do that. And it's easy to make fun of somebody else and go, well, look at what they're doing. But don't most Americans really, instead of fight, say work, earn the money, spend the money, work? That cycle is the worst cycle on earth, and that's a cycle I want to get you out of right now, today, by tapping the power and making step one the most important investment decision in your life. So what the heck is it? Well, what if you decided that you were no longer going to be a financial trader? What are you talking about, Tony? I'm not a financial trader. I don't invest in stocks. I don't do that stuff all day long. Most Americans are financial traders, even though they don't think of themselves that way. Why? Because if you're trading time for money, you're making the worst financial trade in the world. Your goal, and the goal I have for you with this book, is to make money your slave. You want money to work for you, so you don't have to. Until that happens, you'll always have some level of uncertainty or fear or stress or insecurity, because there's only so many things that can happen that mess up your income flow, and you're in trouble. What would it feel like if you could build what I would call a money machine? Something that made money while you slept. Something that literally every day of your life, even if you weren't working, could provide you an income without ever having to work again. Because see, I ask people all the time, what are you investing for? And people say, well, I don't know, I'm doing my 401k so someday I can retire, or I'm investing so that I can get, more assets or a bigger nest egg. No, you're not. You're investing for one thing and one thing only. You're investing because you want an income. You want an income that will last longer than you live. In fact, I mentioned before, the number one fear of baby boomers today is that not they're going to die. That's their number two fear. The number one fear is I want to run out of money while I'm alive. And millennials have the same fear because, according to statistics, about 70 to 75% of the people are going to run out of money before they die, and we're all living longer. So the chance of that happening is off the charts unless you and I create a money machine. What does that mean? It's really simple. The most important financial decision of your life is deciding that a portion of all the money you earn in your life is yours to keep. That you're not going to give it up. It's for you and for your family, and you're going to keep a portion of what you earn forever, and you're going to grow it. That you're not going to give it to, Kate Spade. You're not going to give it to the Gap. You're not going to give it to whoever you normally gave it to. You're going to keep that for yourself, and you're going to grow it into something that literally will make it so you don't have to work as long as you live. I call it a money machine because it's really simple. If you were to just think of yourself right now as you're a money machine, if you take a look at this graphic, here you are, you work your tail off, and what happens? You use your efforts to get money. You trade time for money, you take work and effort for money. But what if you just did something so simple? You already know to do it, you're just not probably doing it at the level that you could. What if you made a decision that a percentage of what you earn, you're never going to see it, it's just going to instantly and automatically be put into building this money machine, where you're going to take a portion of what you earn, 10%, 15%, 8%, 20%. You get to decide the number. But a portion of what you earn, no matter what, before you ever see it, it's almost like a tax, but the tax is paid to you instead of the government. The tax is for your future self. The tax is about creating financial freedom, so you're not like most people who end up their life being stressed out all the time, where you're the person that can do what you want, when you want, where you want, with whomever you want, because you got freedom. How do you get there? You take a portion of this money that you've done right now and you've earned, you automatically start to fill up this money machine.
Problems need energy to live. I want you to own that. Remember this, problems need energy to live. And so the concept should be that we solve problems, but we don't have to pour and deplete ourselves of energy. Because the more energy you give something, the more it expands. We want to be in the max out universe. We want to pour our energy and expense our energy towards the solution, not towards the problem. So the first thing I want you to write down is 90% of your energy, focus, time, and thought should be towards the solution, not towards the problem itself. This is a mistake most people make because they expend all the energy into the problem. They obsess over the problem. And when you expand energy, it grows to survive. And the problem gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and the solution becomes more and more difficult. So the first thing is, can you consciously begin to focus on energy expansion into the solution, 90% of it into the solution and not into the problem. What we do is we repeat that problem over and over and over again, and we magnify it to the point where we don't come up with realistic solutions and we deplete ourselves as energy towards the solution. And so focus going forward, when a problem arises, a challenge arises, that you focus 90% of your energy and thoughts on the solution and not repeating the problem to yourself.
There's three areas of your life that, I think are important, right? One is really mastering your mind, right? Your thought process, and that's nothing new. The real question is, at one level, how do we become more self-aware of the thoughts that are driving all of our process? But more importantly, how do we change our thinking? How do we change the habitual patterns of thinking that we become addicted to? And so that then cascades into, our emotional responses that we have with life around us and our perceptions. So how do we reorient ourselves in a way that is congruent with the life that we actually want to create, or the business that we want to create, or the relationships that we want to create, or the health that we want to have? Because we tend to just continue to experience the same experiences over and over and over and over. And there's nothing fundamentally wrong with us in the fact that we live this sort of Bill Murray Groundhog Day type of existence, right? It's the way the technology and the operating system of the human being has been designed. But now we're entering this really interesting period where I think personal growth is evolving into the next level, where we're able to utilize the tech to really tap into higher levels of intelligence and become, what a lot of people refer to as superhuman.
So what gets people stuck in the first place?
There are a number of things that get people stuck. I mean, let's talk about beliefs for a second. What are beliefs? Beliefs are the meanings that we gave the experiences of our life, mostly before the age of 7, before a significant portion of the prefrontal cortex is fully formed. We gave meanings to the experiences of our life, or other people gave meanings to the experiences that we were having, right? I remember distinctly one time, I grew up in Orange County, California, and I don't know why in first grade they had us choose which mission we wanted to build along, we had Mission San Juan Capistrano.
Interesting. So
at a paper mache and clay, I'm building Mission San Juan Capistrano in my garage, and my dad walks in and he says, "Hey, let me show you a better way to do that." The meaning I gave that experience was I didn't know how to do it right. And just because of the way the technology works, what happens is that starts to shape the lens through which we experience the future experiences of our life. So the next time you have an experience, you're approaching that experience through the not knowing how to do it right. And because the brain is a goal-achieving machine, that's all we start to notice, right? Is what we're not doing right, and really no recognition of what we're doing well. So we get caught in this psycho-cybernetic loop. And if you're not aware of it, there's really no way out of it, because in every new experience, you're just going to continue to focus on that which reinforces the belief systems that you established or the meaning that you gave the experiences early on, and you're going to ignore everything else. You become trapped, right?
By your own thoughts.
By your own thoughts, by your own belief systems. And now we're really understanding that those meanings aren't just some sort of like marshmallow fluff or kind of esoteric concept. They're actually wired into the neural networks of your brain. Like, we can't do that today, but in the future I would imagine we'd be able to brain scan you and go, oh, those are the neural networks that light up when you feel like there's not enough time, or money's hard to make, or you're not good enough, or you're not as far along as you should be. And for years I struggled in the current model of personal growth, because it's one of those things where, like, the current model lends to self-awareness. And when I'm speaking on stages, I say, how many of you are aware now of your limiting beliefs? And everybody raises their hands. I say, how many of you have done the events, you've done the programs, you've done the coaching, you've done the different protocols, you've done the modalities? And make no mistake, I'm not criticizing them, right? This is an evolution of our own ability to change ourselves. And everybody raises their hand, right? They've been in the work, but now they're acutely self-aware, and they have no idea what to do about the patterns of thinking that they're aware of that are causing the stress, anxiety, and overwhelm and holding them back. So that's where I was at one point. And if there was like a question or a quest I was on, It was, how do I go beyond self-awareness and actually begin to change the way I think?
You look around you at the people you admire, you know, they have certain qualities. I mean, you've got friends, why do you like them? You know, generally, you know, generally they have an upbeat attitude on life. Generally, they are generous people. They're humorous people. They're people that do more than their share. They're people that are thinking about something nice they can do for you. And all of those qualities attract you. And none of those are innate at birth. I mean, you can acquire those. And then there's other people that turn you off, you know, and they have habits, they take credit for things they didn't do, they don't show up on time, whatever it may be. They're a little dishonest about things. And if you're looking at your life at a young age like you are, and you can choose what kind of a person you can be, why not be the person you admire rather than the person you can't stand? It's so simple. So just write down the qualities you like. Take your 5 best friends. Why do you like them? And just write down those qualities. And you will find there's no quality there that you can't have yourself. And similarly with the 5 people you can't stand to be around, put those things down that turn you off about those people. And if they turn you off about them, why should you possess them? It's so simple. You know, it's not like something complicated that you think you should be learning with an advanced degree in school.
It's not as complicated as investing in the stock market.
No, but it's enormously important to have people work with you in life.
Right.
They're going to work with you in life if they like you. You know, and they may occasionally, I mean, if you're in the Army or something, you know, you may work for somebody that you don't like. But by and large, you're going to get the best out of people if they feel good about you. And it's just so easy, but you've got to develop the habits early, because you can't say I'm going to suddenly become a terribly attractive person when I'm 60. It just doesn't work that way. So pick up the right habits now. And I will guarantee you, if you actually just write down those qualities and think about it, you will find you can have every one of the attractive qualities, get rid of the ones that are negative, and your life will be different.
I think if a Michael Francis was a father figure type, probably, and I would have probably done a pretty good job at it.
Fascinating.
Yeah. If I had a father figure like a Michael or a Sonny or one of those guys, most likely.
Gotcha. Do you think like a gangster at times?
You have to. There's no question about it. In the business world?
Sure.
Oh, you have to think that way.
Interesting.
Oh, you have to, especially in the world of, look, we're friends, you know, we may talk here, but within your world, the bigger you get, there's a lot of people that are not happy about your brand getting bigger.
Sure.
You're opening up more gyms. This is not exciting to a lot of other people that own gyms. It's not even exciting to somebody that runs a different model when it comes down to franchising.
Right.
So you're not helping people, it's helping competitors. You're hurting them.
True.
And when it comes down to it, if it's between your 5 locations versus my 5 locations, they are going to be competitive. So you get in the world of business being everybody wants to help, everybody's this, and then you realize there's a part of it that some of the people would take their side over you any day.